Hi everybody and welcome to the Language Reading Improvement Program Fortnightly Video Training Sessions, where we assist you in effectively using the LRIP resources in your day-to-day teaching. By now, you would have completed a brief pre-test to measure your understanding of the content for weeks 7 and 8. You will also complete a post-test at the end of this training session. Let's take a look at the expectations for weeks 7 and 8. For the listening and speaking skill, learners are expected to listen to and carry out instructions. For the reading and viewing skill, learners will read an instructional text. For the writing and presenting skill, learners will write an essay explaining why it is important to follow instructions. And for the language structures and conventions skill, we will be covering auxiliary verbs, modal verbs, moods, and future tense sentences. As outlined in the lesson plan, the learners are expected to listen to a set of instructions on how to wash your hands and thereafter orally recall the instructions. Also included in your lesson plan and supportive PowerPoint presentation are step-by-step guidelines on how to go about doing the activities for this skill. You have a total of 2 hours to complete the listening and speaking skill within your 2-week cycle. This instructional poster to be used in the listening and speaking skill has been included in your supportive PowerPoint presentation. In keeping with the LRIP program, we are to supply our learners with the necessary vocabulary that comes from the poster. There are pre-listening activities included. There is a note reminding the learners to write notes while they listen to the set of instructions so that they will be able to answer questions afterwards. And the answering of these questions will suffice as evidence for the listening aspect of the listening and speaking skill. The speaking component, learners are expected to take turns in their groups to recall the instructions in its correct sequence. The language structures and conventions concepts that are to be incorporated into the listening and speaking skill are auxiliary verbs, modal verbs, and moods. Included in your support PowerPoint presentation are resources which you may print and display on your walls, as well as use to teach these concepts. We encourage you to make use of the resources you have been provided with. For the reading and viewing skill, you will be given an instructional text on how to make pancakes. In this 2-week package, we are exposing learners to different examples of instructional texts. For the listening and speaking skill, we used a poster on how to wash your hands. And for the reading and viewing skill, we are using an instructional text on how to make pancakes. Now let's dissect your expectations for the reading and viewing skill. You are expected to do a pre-reading activity, and a slide is available in your supportive PowerPoint presentation to assist you in the pre-reading activity. You will also be expected to teach the learners the elements as well as the structural features of an instructional text. You are welcome to annotate on the instructional text you have been provided with in your LRIP package so that learners can understand the elements of instructional texts. The post-reading activity on how to make pancakes is also on the instructional text, whereby learners will complete the instructions by adding the correct imperative verb in the blank spaces for the instructions to be complete. Lastly, don't forget to do reading practice with your learners. That is either group-guided reading, drop all and read, shared reading, paired reading, and maintain evidence of reading on the learner's reading cards or reading logs, etc. The language structure and conventions concept to be taught in context with the reading and viewing skill is the future tense. You have been provided with the notes as indicated on the slide, which is in your supportive PowerPoint presentation. Additional homework worksheet included in your package. This brings us to the writing and presenting skill. We are expected to spend 2 hours of the 2-week cycle on the writing and presenting skill. Expectations as per the ATP is that learners are expected to write an essay on why it is important to follow instructions. To help learners with the content of what you have in their essay, we have included in your lesson plan the following pointers. We ask learners to think about why is it important to follow instructions when washing hands? Why is it important to follow instructions when baking or cooking? Why is it important to follow instructions when crossing the road? Why is it important to follow instructions when completing a school project? Again, the more guidelines and equipment we give the learners, the easier it makes for them to complete the expected writing task. Remember, the writing process will also be followed for this writing activity. An hour is allocated to teaching the language structures and conventions component. You were shown how to teach these concepts within the previous skills. You were also provided with supporting notes and activities, and we incorporated it into the other skills. Your lesson plan and PowerPoint presentation in your LRIP support package will guide you as to which concept to incorporate in which skill. This is once again a reminder of what is included in your LRIP package. Your resources include lesson plans with a supportive teaching PowerPoint presentation that you may use. There are also additional resources and worksheets that you may use. Remember to have a print-rich classroom for this 2-week period where you have examples of different instructional texts on the wall. A word wall for this 2-week cycle is also encouraged. We encourage you to implement these strategies and use the resources to bring about an improvement in our learners' ability to read with understanding. This brings us to the end of the training for content for weeks 7 and 8. Don't forget to complete the post-test. All the best for the June control tests. I trust that your learners are going to do well in these assessments. Take care, colleagues. Goodbye.